Hey, welcome to the Attic Mana Dad here. It's the channel where we play what's good in Magic, mostly on Arena. And today what's good is Historic Pauper. There's a midweek event. It's either coming very shortly or it's already here as you watch this video. So I want to get out 3 deck lists ahead of time just to have you covered, give you some options of fun stuff to play in the midweek event and stuff that's going to hopefully win. These are based on competitive Historic events, and they all use cards from the new Lord of the Rings set, so that's kind of fun. Let's take a look at the decks. Before we do, in the description, deck lists will be in the description. There will be chapter breaks, so if you want to jump to a particular deck tech, you can do that. And hit that subscribe. I'm going to give away packs soon, so be around, be one of the subscribers that finds out about that. Okay, let's look at these decks. Okay, starting off with Mono White Lifegain. This is a deck that I see a lot of people playing, but they don't usually win with. But I think I've got a good build here that's gonna help get some wins. Obviously, Healer's Hawk, a big favorite of Pauper and Historic Pauper. So that is a repeated source of life gain, along with Lunarch Veteran when creatures enter, and Soul Warden when creatures enter. We're gonna combine that with our favorites. These are our big beaters here. Ajani's Pridemate gets +1/+1 whenever we gain life, and Celestial Unicorn +1/+1 whenever we gain life. That plus gaining a bunch of life may just make it hard enough for opponent to kill. We've also got a couple take up the shields to protect those creatures once we get them going. And not as good on the Pridemate or the Unicorn, but we do have Slip on the Ring, which the reason I'm running this is, first of all, I want to test out some of the new Lord of the Rings cards. But also we have stuff in here like Inspiring Overseer, so we can blink that, get another +1 life gain, and draw a card, and all these other things are going to trigger whenever the creature re-enters. So this could be a good way to save our Healer's Hawk, or save our Inspiring Overseer, or save a Sunblade Samurai if we get that down. We also want to get the Ring Temps. We can put it on our little cheap creatures to get them to sneak in for damage. So we really want to be able to push damage with this deck. We're going pretty wide, so our removal is Patriarch's Humiliation, really effective, cheap removal. And then we've got Now for Wrath, Now for Ruin. Once we've gone really wide, we can just overwhelm. So even if they're removing these big beaters, we get our little guys, we plus them up, we get some ring temps, we start getting in, and we win that way. Mana base, we got a couple Secluded Steps and a bunch of planes. And that is the deck in Mono White Lifegain. Mono Blue Ninjas, when I saw there was a Mono Blue Ninjas Historic Pauper deck, you knew I was going to build my own version of it. Of course, every Tuesday on the channel we do Tribal Tuesdays, and Mono Blue Ninjas would be a great one. Kind of a little bit misleading. I mean, we got 8 ninjas in here. Of course, we got Ninja of the Deep Hours, classic, excellent ninja. It's a 2/2. When it hits, we're going to draw a card. We've also got budget Ninja of the Deep Hours, although it did get a little bit better with a little alchemy change. This is a 2/1 Moon Circuit Hacker. It ninjutsus for only 1 blue. And when it deals combat damage, we're going to scry 2 and draw a card, unless it's not the turn it entered. So really only when it ninjutsus do you get to draw the card. But then you have to discard a card. You still get some looting. Otherwise, we got 12 flying blue 1-drops, okay? So our whole goal is just to drop one of these turn 1 and fly in, and then we can ninjutsu on turn 2. So theoretically, any one of these 12 guys ninjutsu in Ninja of the Deep Hours on turn 2, and then turn 3, are you ready for it? We're gonna attack with Ninja of the Deep Hours and Dreadful as the Storm. This is a Lord of the Rings card here. To make it a 5/5, right? They're going to block. They're going to say, I don't want them to draw a card. So they'll put a blocker in front of it. Maybe even thinking they're going to kill or trade our guy. We'll make it a 5/5. We'll get a ring temp. So now this guy's going to be getting in all the time. And that'll be a lot of fun. We've also got one Zhalfrin Shapecraft, which is another just like fun trick to do with ninjas. Okay. We've got all these flyers. We've also got Cloudkin Seer, which is a nice blink target or replay. Bounce it back, replay it. along with Mana War. But those are all flyers, so we've got a couple lofty denials in here. The list I saw ran Make Disappear, but with all the flyers we had, I think we're almost always going to have a flyer. And so we can either force Spike if we don't have a flyer for some reason, or we're going to get a better counterspell here with Lofty Denial. It's going to go into the late game a lot better, I think. And besides that, what else do we have? We've got a couple Spell Pierces. Always good just to hold up. People want to remove your ninjas. A couple unsummons. Again, we have stuff that has ETB abilities. This comes in, it's going to scry 2. Fairy Miscreants, if we can get 2 of those going, we can draw cards when we bounce them and replay them. And Lantern Bearer doesn't have an ETB, but if they do kill it, we can give something +1/+1 in flying with Lantern's Lift. So that's a nice little extra value. So 1 blink spell to Fairy's Time Twist. Again, sort of an alternate to unsummoning our own creature if they have a kill spell, or spell piercing their kill spell. We can blink it. It's going to get a +1/+1 counter. And hopefully it's one of our ETB creatures, like Mana War, which we're going to use to bounce their creatures. Huge tempo deck. We're only running 20 lands, but we do have 2 more of these cycling cards from Lord of the Rings, Lorien Revealed. So if we flood out... I guess we can draw a bunch of cards and hopefully come through for the win. That is basically the deck. You might want to save up your unsummons and Mana Wars if you get behind, and just try to build out your board, stall it down, take some hits or whatever, and then have a big turn where you bounce as much of their board as possible, get in, and get the win. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. I don't know which one I'm going to play in the event. Maybe I'll play them all, but I'm weak for the ninjas. So if you see a ninja deck like this in the event and the player is Mana Dad, it might just be me. All right, let's go on to deck number 3. Okay, in these Pauper events, I always see people playing the mono black decks. It's a very popular mono black deck. I think it must do well in tournaments or something. People get these lists online, but I always beat them. Like I don't think either the players are not as strong, or they don't know the strategies for it, or maybe the build could be better. And that's what I'm trying to do here. Our Lord of the Rings card, not even honorary. I saw this in a real list for Historic Pauper Mono Black, is Troll of Khazad-dûm. Swamp Cycles for 1. We're probably going to be doing that more than we're going to be playing it for 6, because we're only running 20 swamps. It's a very low to the ground deck. A lot of just value creatures. We're going to have a lot of interaction for these decks that are playing the Healer's Hawks on turn 1. We got Disfigures, and we got Grasp of Darkness. We're going to try to get a Bone Splitter on a flyer, a flying lifelinker like a Vault Scourge, or a Vampire Interloper, which is not a good blocker, so we do want to be on the play if we can be. Okiba Reckoner Raid, this is going to do some cheap, chip away damage, and then it's going to make a 2/2 Menace, which is also a nice one for the Bone Splitter. 4 of Serrated Scorpion. This can just be a roadblock, or we can Village Rites it, get a little bit of value. Maybe if we need to get that last 2 damage, we can Village Rites it, sacrifice it, and get it in there. Hobbling Zombie is also one that we can sacrifice and retain a little bit of value. It's a 2/2 Death Touch that dies into a 2/2 Decayed Zombie. Not the best, but... again, in a pinch, and I think also a 2/2 Death Touch really holds down the ground. It's going to stop all those life gain giant creatures in their tracks. Nobody's going to want to trade their unicorn they've spent a lot of time building up. Phyrexian Rager is a 2/2 that's going to draw us a card when it comes in. Blade Juggler, we're going to hope on turn 3 that we've gotten a hit in with one of these flyers from turn 2, and we're going to be able to play a 3/2 for the Spectacle cost. That's also going to draw us a card and deal us a damage. And if we can't remove our obstacles and get in with our flyers, then we do have the late game with the Troll of Khazad-dûm. This is just so hard to block. A 6/5 has to be blocked by 3 or more creatures. Once you add up how much removal we have, and hopefully we've just kind of been trading off in the early game to keep the board clear, then Troll of Khazad-dûm is going to close out the game in just a few turns. So Mono Black, Historic Pauper, it's a fun format. I've got a number of other decks, so if you didn't see a deck list here that you like, check out the videos. I'm going to be linking over here. I got a lot of other popular Historic Pauper videos. We got Burn in red, we got we got Puppy Bounce, which is like white ETBs. We got all kinds of fun stuff. So check out my Pauper playlist and see if there's anything else you like there, and have fun. I'll see you in the cues. With that, this is Mana Dad reminding you that Magic is a game so fun, even dads can enjoy it. Adios.